Alright, we're back with more Let's Play Ocarina of Time. Now we gotta go save Saria. Because, you know, hey, she's our best friend, quote. You know, if I could actually get up there. And here we go, into the Forest Temple. I really like this dungeon, and a lot of it has to do with the atmosphere. And the music, too. It's very... it's slightly creepy, but... I don't know, mysterious? I don't know the correct word for it. And you know, there was something I was thinking of the other day. You know that show Dinosaurs? You know, the one with the, yeah, it was about that family of dinosaurs, the Sinclair family. And it had the baby who would look at the dad. He wouldn't call him dad or daddy or anything. He would just call him not the mama and usually hit him in the head with something. Yeah, I really like that show, but I swear that had the most depressing, dark final episode of a show I've ever seen. I mean, basically what they do is the Ice Age comes about. I don't remember everything about it, but it had something to do with them, like, they bombed a volcanoes or something. And so the smoke from the volcanoes basically affected the climate and, yeah, brought about the Ice Age. And they all die. Well, they don't die on screen, but it is implied that they do die. It's like, wow, I just thought about that too. Man. It's like, that's a kid's show. Why would you do that? I mean, yeah, kids know the dinosaurs died out, but I think the thing is, you know, you give the dinosaurs personalities, like human personalities, and you love them, and you just imply, oh, they die. Man, that was... I swear that's like the worst final episode I've ever seen. Well, not really. I mean, a final episode, I think, a bad final episode was the one of the, you know, the Teen Titans series on Cartoon Network. Now, that was a good episode on its own. But as a final episode, that sucked. I mean, they leave it at that. You know, you don't know whether that's actually Terra or just some reincarnation that looks like her. I don't know. I would like to think that maybe she... Let's see, maybe it was her, but she just chose not to remember because her statue was gone. I don't know. Of course, that's not relevant to these guys. Yeah, these Stalfos. Even though there's two of them, they'll only attack you one-on-one. And wow, I don't see how I don't see how I dodged that. Actually, he just missed. Yeah, they only attack you one-on-one, which is weird, but hey, makes it easier. And you have to wait for an opening because they constantly hold up their shield, like I tend to do a lot of times, but I'm not doing it here. Actually, they're not that difficult, but the first time I ever played this game, they gave me a lot of trouble. I would die to them constantly. And you don't want to get hit by that jump attack, too. It does a lot of damage, basically like yours does. All that for a small key. We got 2 small keys. Awesome. I have this weird obsession with doing the spin attack. You know what? I might as well just catch this thing in a bottle. I mean, I usually don't need my fairies. I usually don't die unless you count Majora's Mask. That fish boss guy, how do you pronounce his name? Yeah, that's the only boss I usually die against. God, that boss fight sucks. It's not a bad boss, it's just irritating. Because you try and jump out of the water, but he usually grabs you and then starts chewing on you, and ugh. And even if you're starting to climb out of the water, he'll just jump up and grab you. Oh, and I forgot to mention the this little pose that wandered off in the beginning. You know, of course, you realize we've got to find these things because we can't get to the bottom without him. Song of Time. Let's see, right A down. Right A down. I should know this. There we go. I should know this song because in Majora's Mask you play it all the time. Hey, I do better when I play Majora's Mask, then I remember it, because you play it constantly. More of these big Deku Babas. And some Octoroks. Or an Octorok, there's only one of them. Man, I love this dungeon. I just like the way it's designed. It's so... It looks ancient. It's because it's got this... mystic, malevolent feel to it. Man, what is the word I'm trying to find? Just a quick way to get up here with the hook shot. We can't kill this Skulltula. Okay, let's try that again. We can't reach this Skulltula from up here because we don't have a ranged weapon, at least not yet. Just sneak past this guy, because they turn purple and they just charge at you and knock you down. I was gonna try and show what happens when he sees you, but he just turned the other way, so screw it. Oh, and these bubbles. It's weird. They're called bubbles, even though they really don't resemble a bubble. I wonder what happens if you just happen to be standing in the right spot where that chest appears. I think I've sort of done that before. I wonder if you just appear on top of it. I think I also like the fact that Link's tunic just matches this dungeon too. Kind of like in the other dungeons where you've got the Goron tunic and you got the Zora tunic. It just matches where you are. Alright, looks like I'm just gonna have to climb up on this thing. I swear the controls are really sensitive when it comes to aiming sometimes. At least in my opinion, they are. Alright, jump. Oh, that was nice. Oh, it just now occurred to me these enemies respawned. I could just jump down there. Well, I sorta did. I swear, when I was younger, this part used to creep me out. Just because it's just like a long corridor, and you can't see that far, even though there's nothing in here. What is this? This is our third key. We've got 3 keys already, and we haven't used them yet. Oh, and again, these enemies respawn. Well, that takes care of you. I wonder if Octoroks eat anything. Not a dumb question. Maybe I guess they eat human flesh, I guess. No, not Octoroks. Probably just eat fish, but then they just spit rocks just because they're dicks. Why am I wondering about that? I guess because they have no other form of mouths. I guess they just... Oh, you know what? Maybe they're algae eaters or something. Or maybe they're like humpback whales where they eat They just open their mouths and they swallow like shrimp or like crayfish or whatever you call them. I can't open the jars the normal way where there's a sword slice. I gotta use the spin attack. Ah, these things are so much easier to kill now. You know, in this game, when they hit you, it doesn't matter, but in Majora's Mask, when those blue bubbles hit you, you're cursed and you can't use your sword for a while, which is irritating. Of course, it's like that way, too, in Wind Waker, when you get hit by those blue bubbles. There are arrows painted on the floor. Thank you. I never would notice that on my own. You know what else I just realized that I didn't comment on a few videos back? Was the fact that Link has an earring now on his left ear. Oh man, left or right. It's one of his ears. He's got an earring now. And you know, as a kid, he didn't have it. So, where did that come from? I mean, I guess he just skipped his rebellious teenage years, but maybe it's some kind of symbolage that all heroes have to wear. Odd. You know what else I was watching tonight? I was watching House. Man, I love that show. But I've missed like 2 seasons of it just because I've always been doing something at night half the time, or I forget about it. And sometimes the times just change. I missed 2 seasons because I know the whole season where he started, where at the end of it, it find out he was apparently hallucinating for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with his Vicodin. I do know he was seeing the ghost of Amber, Wilson's girlfriend that got killed a season before. And then, it's just like I hadn't seen much of that season, so, you know, the part where he's in Cuddy's office and all of a sudden they just start doing these flashbacks of him apparently hallucinating. And then the next season starts and he's in a mental institution. I don't really know what was going on there. I saw like the end of it, but I was still kind of confused. And I missed that whole season too. And I just happened to look at one of the newer ones today. Something about what was it? A mother and her baby, and Cuddy wanted House to like hire a female team member. What I'm confused is, and I don't really care if anybody tells me, where's Cameron and where is 13? Where did they go? Because last time I checked, last season, House was with his old team, you know, Chase, Foreman, and Cameron. Like, what happened? Are they still there? Let's see. I know Foreman and 13 were dating. And also that whole thing with Chase where I saw the episode where he basically sort of killed that dictator guy. Like he swapped the blood or something to where they diagnosed it wrong, or they gave him the wrong blood and it killed him. And I know then in another episode he was like really broken up about it. And I'm thinking maybe he and Cameron got a divorce? And of course, I looked that up on Wikipedia, I'm not sure. I mean, he was broken up about that, and I guess he's fine now, since that was last season when he was broken up about it. I guess he just came to terms with it. Man. Oh, and of course, House and Cuddy are together, which really, realistically, isn't that surprising. I mean, there was always that awkward sexual tension between them. And they just finally hooked up. And I just happened to notice her daughter's like 2 now. And that took me... Last time I saw it, she was a baby, and now she's like 2 years old. Oh, and also, House spent that entire episode trying to figure out whether she had swallowed a dime, because he was supposed to be babysitting her. And Wilson was there too. Well, at least, they're not making House crazy, I guess, anymore. I mean, I like him being a jerk and everything. That's what makes him so appealing. He's one of those guys who... he's a jerk, but you like him. He's a lovable jerk.